Hey babes, welcome back to another episode of the Babe That's Bonkers podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee. So happy to be here, so happy to have you here. Happy Valentine's Day, or as the pagans would say, happy Lupercalia. So yes, we will be chit-chatting about another pagan holiday, just, some of the cool witchy woo-woo origin stories, and you probably know the deal by now. We'll be talking about Lupercalia, the origin story of Cupid, kind of little fun things to do for our Valentine's Day that would have the pagan nature vibes. We'll probably breeze through today's holiday chit-chat pretty quickly, but we do have lots to talk about in the astrology department, so very, very exciting. We did indeed just experience a full moon, so things been crazy. We'll chit-chat about why that might be, But yeah, then wrap things up with some life updates, a tarot read, and call it a day so we can all get on to celebrating our holidays. I know that I will be doing lots of baking today. Whenever this comes out, will be the day before Valentine's Day, I do believe. So yeah, definitely lots of baking to be done. I'm gonna make some brownies for the people of the universe. Not all of them, but like some of them. You'll know if you are one, and you'll receive brownies. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I don't know why I've got like all the freaking jazz fingers out today. It's just, that's what my hands want me doing. My grandma would always say that like us Portuguese people love to talk with our hands. Same with one of my friends who's very Italian. So I don't know if it's just I don't know. I just feel like certain people are very passionate when they speak. So they speak with their hands. They add gestures for emphasis. And I do that a lot naturally. So yeah, spirit fingers coming out today, apparently. But Lupercalia, this holiday excites me because of the show I watched called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, kind of the better version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Hot take, but not really, because it is so much more cinematic, and yeah, still have not collected any of those comics from Archie's Comics or whatever. Someday we'll get into that. But I remember there was an episode about Lupercalia. I'm pretty sure I said the same thing about Yule, and that's something that I think makes the show so much more exciting, and also shows that like I naturally have an interest in these holidays because it was already showing up in the other things I was interested in my life, like the forms of content I like to consume. And yeah, I don't know. It was just a fun, cute little episode, and yeah, it just made me all the more excited to like bring it to life in my own way. Like obviously it's gonna be very different from a TV show, but like I can have the holiday too. You know what I mean? That's super exciting. So yeah, it's originally based on a Roman festival of fertility. I'm not going to share a bunch of the stories I read. They were pretty gory, and I didn't really love the talk about like animal sacrifices and whatever. If you're interested, it is going to be included in the blog post I always share, where I get a good amount of little tidbits relating to the pagan holidays from. So that'll be linked down in the show notes or whatever. But yeah, that's all I'm particularly going to share, is that it's based in a Roman festival about fertility, which makes sense in this like pre-spring era. I think that it's really interesting how what's like happening in the ground, in the land, winter is ending, so all this new growth is coming up, and that's gonna like lead to more abundance as far as like food availability and whatnot. I think it is very fascinating that in history they took that sign to like host their own fertility rituals and focus on like the fertility of like humans also, which that's not necessarily my focus this year by any means, capiche? But I think it's really interesting that there was like a season, I guess you could say. But I guess that's true for like most animals, and we're just animals at the end of the day. Humans, mammals, one and the same. So kind of weird, quirky, but yeah, that's why I feel like a lot of the themes for this holiday were very, very similar to the last one of Imbolc, which was like the halfway point. This particular festival was usually a few days long, from February 13th through the 15th, so like no wonder why the 14th, the middle day, ended up being known as the Valentine's Day and the celebration in our like modern day era or whatever. One of the interesting things that seemed to be like the origin story for like Valentine's Day cards was Lupercalia cards used for like matchmaking. I guess they would just like make these little cards with like little wishes on them and like their hopes within the new season. You know, a lot of times just like pertain to fertility, but I guess not, you know, 100%. Who knows what was in those cards for sure. But they would like put them into like an urn as like a community. And I think that definitely is very, very similar to like our exchange of Valentine's cards. You could also like use the card as like a wish for like your perfect match or like who you think your perfect match is kind of thing, which I think is just cute and silly, exactly what I would have done in the second grade, you know. I do remember, I think it was like first grade or something, on Valentine's Day, like exchanging cards with a bunch of kids, and there was this one boy I had a crush on, and so obviously, as first graders do, I told him I loved him, and he like fake passed out and then just laid on the floor, and then it was a game. I kept saying it and he kept fake passing out, and it was funny, and you know, whatever. So that was fun. So that's just a quirky little tidbit from my life, but now I'm very, very lucky to have a man that stays conscious whenever I tell him I love him, and I'm very grateful for that. So I do plan to spend Lupercalia Valentine's Day, whatever you want to call it, with him, and yeah, we both have work, but I'm so excited to just hang out, spend some quality time together, that kind of thing. Some Lupercalia Valentine's Day cards may or may not be part of the program. Who knows? We'll see. So when I was doing my Lupercalia research and whatnot, I did come across this fun little tidbit about Cupid and his origin story. Apparently he wasn't this cute little baby floating around with the purest of intentions once upon a time. He was indeed a Greek mythology like deity who represented the powers of love and desire. And these powers are so, so strong that could either lead to creation or destruction. So there was like two sides to this coin of Eros. And I guess, you know, just over time, he turned into, you know, this cutesy little cherub with, you know, more wholesome of intentions, and kind of just represented like romantic love rather than like passionate pleasure and all this jazz. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with, you know, the Catholic Church moving in and eventually adopting this set of holidays as their own. You know, St. Valentine's feast day. It really is, to me, like, you know, if someone were to like propose at someone else's wedding, like, oh, it was just too much work for me to prepare my own celebration, so I'm just gonna piggyback off of yours, and, you know, at the end of the night, everyone's gonna remember, you know, what was going on with me instead of you, you know, with the old and with the new type thing. And yeah, it's just fascinating. And I don't know, part of me does feel bad for, I don't know, someone could probably consider this like bashing the Catholic Church. And I mostly mean like in history versus the modern day. You know, I think we can all agree that if we look at the history of religions, there's a lot of stuff that has gone on that probably shouldn't have and wasn't really, you know, done with the best of intentions after all, no matter in whose name, whatever. But, you know, that's kind of how I feel about, like, these holidays. Like, these were, like, sacred traditions of people who were, like, trying to honor nature's natural cycles and were eventually, you know, shamed for wanting to celebrate them. And it became, like, this, like, taboo thing. And then their celebration was then, like, overshadowed, overpowered, replaced with another celebration, you know, to honor things that have, like, very, very little to do with the actual, like, key points and values of the celebration, I guess you could say. And I don't know, I feel like there are a lot of scenarios in history that could, you know, show parallel themes, and it's just kind of, I don't know, icky behavior if I were to offer an opinion, which is what my podcast is for, you know, my thoughts and opinions. So if you got a problem with them, you can buzz off. But I do want to express that as I'm sharing these thoughts that have to do with the Catholic Church, you know, obviously I grew up Catholic. We can deep dive into that maybe in like my vulnerability series whenever we get to that. But, fun stuff first. And then once I run out of fun stuff, we can get serious and sappy and heartfelt and all that jazz and whatever. But, I don't want to shame anyone for the religion that they choose to be a part of. I think it can be a great place for some people to find a sense of community, a sense of belonging, some sort of sense of guidance. I think humans crave answers to a degree, and however you choose to spend your time with whomever people in whatever way, I think that, you have the right to decide how you want to do that. And it's super cool that everyone decides to do it differently, and that, there are different places where people can find a sense of peace and community. And for me personally, that is not within organized religion, though I do feel like there is a lot to learn from all religions. And I am interested in many different spiritual practices, but where I feel like I experience spirituality the most is whenever I'm in nature. I've maybe shared this before, but that really just does something for me and gives me a sense of peace, and I find that to be really beautiful. And I plan to keep exploring my spirituality, just as it unravels before me. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm on this journey of just learning and experiencing and, forming opinions and taking actions based on all these different things that I'm learning. And I think at the end of the day, it's just about trying to be a better version of myself. And that's something that I know was talked about in, some of the classes I went to for catechism and whatever, whenever I went to the Catholic Church frequently and all that jazz. But it's also something that I've heard, spoken about in other circles. And I just really like to focus on believing in a higher power, something that's bigger than myself, and just having faith and trust in the journey that I'm on. Just whatever's meant for me will find its way to me. And I think those themes can be found in a lot of different religions, and also outside of religions, just in, books and pieces of literature and art. And, some of these things I've just learned by living, and that's why I have that opinion. So all to say, I know religion can be a touchy subject, but I'm not trying to talk down on anyone's lifestyle. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. I'm just sharing my thoughts and my lifestyle and the things that I'm interested in hopes that, it sparks conversation, inspires a community to collect and gather and form and whatever else. So yeah, none of these things need to be taken too seriously, too deeply. I really feel the need to preface all of this because I grew up Catholic, and I'm not sure who within that community might come across my little pagan holiday podcast episodes and just think something or whatever. But I don't really care. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I think is cool, and this is what I want to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it at the end of the day, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Thank you for, letting me get a little real, vulnerable, whatever. But we're going to try to pick up the vibes now. This is a holiday celebration. We're celebrating love, babes. Love, love. I love love. I love being in love. I love the act of loving. I love showing love, receiving love. How can you not? How can you not love love? Only if you don't receive enough could you not love love. You could only not love the absence of love, I think. Anywho, some fun activities that you could do to celebrate Lupercalia, Valentine's Day, either for a partner, but honestly for yourself. This is kind of what I've been doing with all of these different pagan holidays. I'm using the podcast as an opportunity to learn and share what they're all about. 2, I have been trying to take the recommendations of what to do for these holidays, also what to do during these different periods of celestial movement within astrology, and just taking the recommendations of these experts I'm collecting research from, following the content of whatever. And just kind of like formulating my own version, you know, whatever is just like most feasible, most doable for me, you know, that week, you know, because honestly, I'm not putting a bunch of money into celebrating these holidays. I don't have tons and tons of time. I'm a busy gal, got a couple jobs, many personal projects, couple dogs, a boyfriend, myself, a home, all these things to take care of, all these goals. And yes, I do also want to take time to celebrate. So that's why I think these holidays are like really like holding me accountable to kind of like taking myself on solo dates, because this is really a journey that I'm on with myself. Like I do share all these things that I'm learning with my partner because I think it's interesting, you know, not all of them, but just like whatever sticks out and like comes up naturally and yada yada yada, whatever. But I'm also trying to use this as encouragement to start taking myself out on solo dates again. I can't remember if I talked about it during like last week's episode or next week's episode, because I did record next week's episode before this one right now. That's just how timing worked out, mostly because I wanted to wear something a little Valentine's-y and I needed to do laundry. And like, this isn't crazy Valentine's-y, obviously, but you know, some like pink warm colors, pinks, reds, whatevers, better than what I had the other day. I think I was wearing green, totally not Valentine's-y. Anywho, but I went on a photography solo date. I also went to like go visit water and journal and whatnot, and it was inspired, you know, by the pagan holiday and all that jazz. And I'm trying to do that again. So tomorrow I'm probably going to do another little photo shoot if I can. And, you know, I'm probably going to also try to do one of these little activities. So here they are. A billion words later. One of them is just making cards, you know, Valentine's Day cards originated with Lupercalia cards, perhaps. And, you know, even if you're not giving one to like a partner, you know, I think it could be so fun to just like make a few little love notes and like leave them in random places. You know, I love those like TikToks where people like put, you know, money in like diapers at the store and whatever. So like when like new moms, you know, buy diapers for their baby or whatever, you know, like they get $20 or something like that, and just like those few little acts. And I think it could be super cute to do like a Valentine's Day version of that, of like making little cards and just like leaving them in random places, where they might be on like someone's car or in like a window or in a store somewhere, or just like randomly in public places, just kind of, you know, an act of kindness, words of kindness, something like that. You can also just like make cards for the people in your life, your friends, your family, your partner, yourself. It could be a fun little crafty moment. And you honestly don't need a lot. Like paper and a pencil could do. You can do some monochrome black and white doodles. If you have some crayons, markers, whatever. I think every year I've made my partner a card with a different medium. I did like paint and then I did markers. So maybe I'll do one of the same this year. Maybe I'll do something different. I don't know. All I do know is that I have absolutely procrastinated, but I would like to keep up with the tradition, because how cute is it that he has just like a little collection of homemade cards from his beautiful, super sweet girlfriend who's like super duper artsy and crafty and whatever. Anywho. So cards, obvious. It's an obvious one. But I did just want to like take some time to like throw a few different spins on it, because like as an adult you just don't have the same opportunities to celebrate the way you did when you were a kid, especially if you're in this like period of life, or if you just like don't have kids in general, don't plan to, don't want to, or if you're in between before having kids, or just whatever. You know, I feel like kids allow you to like kind of like relive those fun little moments, or give you like ways to celebrate like that, you know, because they have Valentine's for their classroom or whatever. But as an adult, you don't really have anything going on like that. But you could, if you wanted to. You could get crafty, you could get creative, and you can have some fun and make some people smile and feel loved. And I think that's what it's all about, really. Another activity suggestion was to plant some seeds. You know, fertility is part of the theme, you know, as we are like creeping into springtime. And at least for me, in February, this is actually the perfect time to start planting some seeds. I really wish I had a roof on my greenhouse, but I could get some going indoors if I really wanted to. But honestly, the house is too tiny. So, you know, we just might have some late spring batches instead. But yeah, could be a fun little project. And, you know, it doesn't even have to be vegetables, you know, just some like cute little flowers that could be really, really fun. The last one, which I thought was super duper sweet, because I feel like we are growing as a society. You know, one of the things I didn't really like want to talk about as far as like the Lupercalia traditions goes with like the Roman festivals and whatever. You know, they had some like animal sacrifices, some goats, and then one of them was also like a dog, I guess. Lupercalia, part of the like name's origin kind of means she-wolf. So a lot of it is like wolf-based. So I think that was a part of it. I'm a dog lover, so the thought of that really grinds my gears, gives me the ick. I'm sorry if that like triggers you as much as it triggers me. But this new suggestion, which I love, is donating to an animal shelter. I almost feel like it's like making amends in a way. You know, we're trying to help the doggy dogs of the world and, you know, not sacrifice them. That is the key. Yeah, there were also just some like weird parts of the tradition, you know, kind of gross, so I'm not going to share it. But not also like cruel, but just like odd. But yeah, you can go ahead and read those like funky stories if you'd like. But I'm passing today. It was not as cute and as exciting as I thought it was going to be. I was really picturing the scenes from Sabrina in my mind, and it wasn't it. But that's what I am going to choose to believe in and to recreate in my own life, perhaps. Not exactly, of course, but those fun little vibes. I remember in the show, stop now if you don't want me to spoil anything, but in the show, one of the things that they did was like a moonlight picnic. That would have been perfect a couple nights ago. We should do that soon because we just had the full moon. We'll talk about that in a second with our astrology thoughts and whatever. But the full moon's perfect because it like lights up the sky so you can actually like see. But in the show, they had like a full moon picnic and it was so cute, and that would be so sweet. I'm going to go back to Trader Joe's and I'm going to get some cute little cheeses and stuff. And yeah. I went to Trader Joe's the other day. I haven't been in such a long time. Just since I've like moved further away, we, you know, have a different grocery system now that I live with a partner. But when I was single, that's the only grocery store I would go to because it's the parking lot I feel the safest in. And they also just have great selections. And so I went to go get some like produce the other day and prep some snacks for an upcoming nature day. You know, you can never have enough dried mango on hand when you're going up into the mountains. And they just had like the seasonal things, and I want to go back. I don't know if I have the money, the funds, but I want the cute little treats. I want them. They were adorable. All the cheeses, all the candies, all the delicious things. I wanted them. I didn't get any of them, but I want them. But this always happens. I grocery shop. I buy all of this really beautiful, healthy food, and then I'm here. I'm home with it. I'm hungry. All I want is junk. All I want is junk food. All I want is processed sugar. And I know I just need to like keep eating the fresh foods, the whole foods, and less of the processed stuff. And eventually my body will adapt, but it's not there yet. I have been doing better though. Recently, I've just like skipped nightly dessert. That's something that I have pretty frequently, and honestly, I have no shame in that. I think it, you know, prevents me from like deep diving and binge eating. So, you know, everything in moderation, a little treat every night, so be it. I'm a healthy human. So, but I do want to be healthier. I'm always looking to level up, to upgrade. So I've been trying to just wean myself off of the nightly treat, and something that's kind of helped is giving myself a treat in the middle of the day. And I know that's kind of, you know, maybe counterintuitive, but I'm trying to break the habit of craving a treat right before bedtime. That's really what I'm like aiming for. I don't really care about like the calorie intake. I probably should care a little bit about like the food I'm putting in, but honestly, I feel like I eat enough fruits and vegetables to like balance it out. But, you know, we can always start making better choices. Whatever. Those are some health chats for another day, but that's just something I've been trying. So if that's helpful or interesting to you, have fun with it. But I'm going to stop rambling, and now we're going to start talking about astrology. So there are a lot of big things happening. So in March, which is sneaking up, creeping, it'll be here before we know it. We're already halfway through February. I feel like January just started. That's how I feel. Anyhow, here we are. March is sneaking up, and in March, a bunch of things are happening in the celestial realms and whatnot. So we all know about Mercury retrograde. Venus retrograde is also going to be happening simultaneously in March in Aries. And there is going to also be an eclipse the 29th of March in Aries. And just all of these really big movements are going to result in like big feelings. You know, these retrogrades are going to result in a lot of I want to say like heightened emotions. It's going to like put things under the microscope a little bit, as the cosmic latte. All of these big movements happening at the same time are going to highlight some like specific parts of our life. And you know, it's going to be different for all of us because we all have different birth charts and we're all on different journeys, living different lives as individuals. But there are going to be a lot of, you know, things happening revolving around the theme of relationship growth. And that's not necessarily always your relationship with other people. It can be, but it could also very much be the relationship that you have with yourself, or a little bit of both. You never know. And honestly, the latter is probably more likely. But it's a great time to start thinking about, you know, advocating for yourself more, really trying to be intentional and, you know, thinking about like your self-worth. And honestly, you know, you can either hype yourself up or you can let the negative thoughts take over when it comes to these kind of things. And I want the good things for you. So just remember that you're a baddie and you've got this, and you are so, so worthy of love and happiness and of making your dreams come true. You just have to keep taking the steps and keep believing in yourself. So remember those things as all of these crazy astrological things are happening. I do think that Saturn and Neptune are also going to be entering Aries very soon after. So just a lot of things happening within the same time frame. And it all might feel chaotic, but it's also kind of cool in my mind that like all these things are happening at once. Like, what are the odds? And, you know, when it rains, it pours. I feel like that is always, always true. And, you know, this is probably why, because every once in a while, a bunch of astrological things happen all at once, you know, or bam, 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 one right after another. Because I guess it's not all at once, not all at the same date, but, you know, within the same chunk of time. You know what I mean? So those are just some interesting things to think about, some things to maybe keep, you know, floating in the back of your mind as we are finishing up February, heading into March. I think that kind of like preemptively, you know, recognizing like, okay, relationships are going to be under the microscope. We're going to be focusing a lot on those. You know, you can start doing some prep work, you know, figuring out just like the things that you would really like to prioritize and work on and embrace and show gratitude over. Moving on, we need to chat about this full moon we just had in Leo. This was a couple days ago on the 12th. So actually it's today. Oh my goodness. Today when I'm recording it is the full moon. Oh my goodness. I need to have a picnic tonight. That's what's happening. It's going to be such a fun, wonderful day. But the full moon in Leo, full moons kind of represent this full circle moment. You know, the whole moon is there. This thing is like finishing out. Everything is like in completion, ready to show. That's kind of how I'm trying to like remember this. And with that, there's a lot of heightened emotions. Like if I think of whenever I finish a product, finish a project, finish a painting, anything like that, you know, I have that like show and tell moment, that like opening night of a show, a musical, play, whatever. Emotions are heightened. Or even in like different contexts of like a full circle moment, whenever you kind of just, that thing just like clicks, I feel like that also ignites a lot of different emotions. Or if there's some sort of ending, that ignites a lot of different emotions. So all I'm trying to say a million different ways is that, you know, our emotions are heightened, like the vampires from Vampire Diaries. You know, everything is a little bit more, and that's okay, but we also need to like be conscious of it, because it's always very important that we do our best to stay in control of our emotions, because they're ours to deal with, not other people's to deal with, to burden with. And I don't know, that's something I feel strongly about, and I'm always working on myself. So yeah, just my own personal thoughts. But this full moon is in Leo, right? And Leo is a fixed fire sign, and it's ruled by the sun. And thinking of like the symbol of the line, you know, strength of character kind of has this like playfulness about it, a vibrance, you know, kind of this like, you know, sometimes like an artistic vision, perhaps, you know, a level of confidence. And this full moon in Leo marks this turning point in our journey of manifesting our ambitions, our different creative potential. And there are just, you know, a lot of different pieces of the puzzle that are starting to like move and fall into place. At least that is if we are doing the inner work to prevent any sort of like emotional blocks that are going to, you know, crowd out the energy that we need to spend on the potential that we have to like create things and to bring our dreams and our ambitions to fruition. So what we need to lean into less is, you know, our egos. That's going to result in like a sense of disconnect with people. I feel like I've already felt that with some people in my life recently. You know, nothing crazy, but there just have been these like elements of like, I feel really disconnected. Like we're just like not clicking. We're not really getting each other right now. And it was really crazy like reading this in my research. And I'm just like, I freaking knew it. I knew it was something with the stars. It was just such a like funky feeling where I'm just like, why is this so hard? Like we normally flow so well, but our gears are grinding. They're not rotating in sync. And that's because we were letting our egos get in the way, of course. And it happens to the best of us because we are all human and we all possess egos. But a really great reminder to lean into it less. And now I have a better opportunity because I can be self-aware about it, you know? Also with this, a lot less, you know, boredom. Don't let it take over. You know, if you're bored, it's just a sign that you should start creating something. I think, personally, I think that's the best time to work on your creativity is when you're bored. Also less comparison, less external validation. Easier said than done. They kind of go hand in hand with one another, but you're probably relying on a lot of external validation if you're comparing yourself to other people all the time, rather than just recognizing who you are, your own self-worth. Let's start putting in the work now, right? To get ready for March. So we need more inner strength. That's what we need to be celebrating within ourselves. We need to be more playful. We need to be more passionate. We need to be uplifting to ourselves and to the people around us. That's what's going to help us get out of these moments of like disconnect and comparison and relying on external validation. We don't need the external. That's just, you know, sprinkles on the sundae. We need internal validation because we fucking know that we are worthy of everything that we need to be content in this life. We are worthy of love. We are worthy of happiness. I said it once. I'll say it again. I'll say it a million times for whoever needs to hear it. We are worthy of love. We are worthy of happiness. We are worthy of joy. We are worthy of our dreams coming true. We are worthy of spending our time in a way that fulfills us. We are worthy of all of these things, and you need to believe it to make shit happen. Okay? That's the key. That's what we're thinking about during this time. As some like activity suggestions, one would be manifesting. That's something we should always be working on, but especially with this full moon in Leo, it is a really wonderful time. You know, pop out that journal, start thinking about your creative products, your artistic visions. That's what I need to do. I need to take advantage of this energy because I have many artistic visions. We're going to chat about that in a second with the life updates actually. So the timing just is perfect. A couple other recommendations were sunbathing. Perfect for a cat. You know, what else? What else would you think about doing? Kind of other equivalents would be like hot yoga or hanging out in the sauna. I've actually gone to the sauna once this week, once last week, trying to make it like a weekly thing, going to the gym with my partner. It's been really lovely. And I'm just really proud that like the work I've been doing mentally, these like slow steps that I'm taking are actually working. Like I took January to just like really prepare myself mentally and come up with a game plan. And now I'm like, okay, let's work out once a week. we're adding that into the routine. And so I've got once with my partner. Now I'm kind of also doing it like once on my own. So that's twice a week. And we're slowly building up these better habits, and it feels so sustainable. I feel so proud of myself. My body feels good, sore, but good, hurts so good kind of thing. And so it was just one of those like aha moments that, it was suggested to hang out in the sauna during this time, and I just went to the sauna a couple days ago. It makes me feel like I'm just like naturally on the right track, not to toot my own horn, but toot, But yeah, that's what I've got for astrology updates. That was kind of a lot, but very exciting stuff. And yeah, so now we're just gonna jump into the life updates. I've got some fun things going on these days. I was at the gem show the other day. I don't know if you know, but Tucson, Arizona is like the spot for the biggest gem, mineral, and fossil show extravaganza, conventions, booths, tents, pop-ups, whatever you want to call them, in the world. Like, people are coming from all over the world internationally to like come to all of these different like tents. Like, there are like spots all over town, like 50 different locations that have like gems to look at and buy and whatever. And I went the other day kind of for work, but also got to just look at some gems for myself. And I bought some little skulls, and I'm planning on turning them into earrings because they just perfectly match the like marketing of my job that I have. So I'm like, okay, I can like craft something cute, a little unique, but also fits in really, really well with like my everyday work uniform. That just felt like a little bit of a win-win, and it was also something affordable. Like, most things at this show are very expensive, as gemstones are, but they had a dollar bin, so I got a bunch of little charms for $1 each, and it felt like a huge win. It was nice to be able to take something home, even though I was just, a poor girly, just there for the looks, not to actually like buy expensive gems and fossils. But I do want to go again. I want to take my partner. I think he would love it. We love rocks. We have a beautiful rock collection, so many different kinds, so many memories attached to them. It is just super, super cool. And yeah, I know he would love it. I know we would enjoy it together. So I need to drag his ass because it's literally within walking distance, and the weather is perfect. February is so, so beautiful. It's probably why they have it during this time, because the rest of Arizona, like last month, January, freezing. I don't know where I was, but it didn't feel like Arizona. It was just too fucking cold. And the rest of the year is kind of blazing hot. Right now, February, beautiful. It's February and August. Those are the nice times, if you're wondering. I'm also going to be shopping for my friend who makes jewelry, the silversmith. And yeah, I'm just excited to like live vicariously and get to go shopping for more gems. I won't get to like wear them or keep them. Maybe I'll buy some from her, if I have some favorites. But yeah, I love living vicariously through people who like do cool things that are like outside of like my own personal hobbies. I just get like a little taste of like the fun you get to have. That's really cool. So that'll be a good time. My next thing isn't really like a life update, but just like a silly thought I had earlier that I thought would be fun to share. So I'm a to-do list girly. I need a to-do list desperately to like stay on track, and they also make me feel like I'm accomplishing things. And so I made a to-do list today to like try to figure out like my priorities, like what I actually needed to accomplish, and just like get myself going. Because I noticed like on the mornings where I'm like late to get caffeine and don't make a to-do list and start like prepping, like don't really like get ready instantly, I kind of lollygag for a little bit because I didn't just like go ahead and get in the zone. And it's something I'm learning about myself, so now I can be self-aware and make better choices in the future. But anywho, I was making my to-do list today, and I didn't really check off that much on it. And then I came back to it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like halfway through the day and I haven't done most of these things on my to-do list. And then I took a moment and I was like, okay, but what have I been doing? And I went ahead and I added the things that I had accomplished that were like actually productive, not bullshit procrastinating things. I took them, I added them to my to-do list, and I instantly checked them off. And it made me feel so much better about myself, just so much less guilty for not already getting other things done, because it allowed me to recognize like I haven't just been like wasting my time. I probably am just putting more on my plate than I can actually handle in one day. But, it's important to get the thoughts out, and, it's great to, like, aim high, because, at the end of the day, I'm going to accomplish a lot, and it's going to be really productive, and I can, be proud of myself for that, and be grateful, and not be so hard on myself on the things that I didn't accomplish. But I know that's what I need to prioritize for tomorrow, kind of thing. So that's just some of my to-do list logic, if you care at all. I don't know. I really love hearing about other people's thought processes, especially in like those little tiny specific things you do in life. It's almost like I have an SOP to like how I operate in my home, except it's my home, not a job. So it's not like anyone like gave it to me. It's just something I've like figured out myself. And, some of it I have adopted from things I've heard from other people. And, some of it I've just like learned on my way, on my journey, whatever. But I don't know. I thought it would be fun to share some things like that, because not everyone, but a lot of people make to-do lists. A lot of people probably feel guilty when they don't check everything off. And a lot of people probably did other things that were really productive that they should appreciate about themselves. You know what I mean? So there's my little tidbit, to-do list tidbit. And then my last life update before we get into the tarot pool and wrap things up is about wanting to be a full-time artist so bad. And this kind of relates to like what I was talking about earlier, of just like manifesting creative projects, visions, whatever. But I have so many ideas. I have so many projects I want to work on. So many things I just want to accomplish. And I have other responsibilities, unfortunately. I'm not a full-time artist. I probably will not be a full-time artist until I figure out a way to make money from my art somehow, and that is the goal. What kind of art? I don't really care. It could be my paintings, it could be my photography, it could be my podcast, it could be something else, another project I haven't started yet. All I want is to make money so I can make more art. That's the life I'm trying to live, and I'm a little bit frustrated to not be further along in my journey yet, but this frustration is a great reminder to tell myself to slow the fuck down. I only have so much time. I need to be realistic with where I'm at in my life, where I'm at in my journey, and recognize that it's beautiful to be where I'm at. And I am at a place that is crucial in my journey, because I am laying the like foundation of the kind of artist I'm going to become. I'm doing foundational work, and it's grunt work, it's hard work, and it's slow work, and it requires so much patience, it requires so much willpower, it requires scrappiness. That's what I said I wanted to emanate after listening to that podcast that one day. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be scrappy. I'm trying to be tenacious. I'm trying to increase my capacity to what I can create in a healthy way. And I'm having this moment in my journey where I'm having to like take a step back and just like check myself, like, okay, what are your priorities? All right, this is what they are. This is what I would love to do but don't have the time for yet. Okay, for now we need to like put those on the back burner, set them aside. Maybe we'll come back to them, maybe we won't. It's okay to like take time to grieve the ideas that you'll never get to. It's probably important and healthy too. I probably should spend more time grieving the ideas that I'll never get to, because if I do that, then I can move past them. I can honor them by giving my all to the projects that I am actually giving my time to. That is the best thing that I could do for myself, for those ideas. I really feel like it's just the way I need to operate, and this whole process is going to require me to provide myself with so much grace and so much patience and so much trust. I am in the process of like building trust within myself as an artist, which is so hard. I'm only human, so it's all easier said than done, and I'm really just trying to trust that I will get my time to shine. I just have to be slow and steady to win this race. I would really love to get like a tortoise in the hair tattoo. I've been thinking about it for a long time. because I really do believe that slow and steady will win the race, and I just need to stay consistent. I need to always keep coming back to my practice. I need to keep sharing. I need to keep creating, and I need to just keep on keeping on and trust that like my time will come. I will have the opportunity to create art. Maybe not full-time. I don't know if I'll ever be a full-time artist in my life, but I'll definitely have more time in my life to create art. I will definitely provide that for myself. Actually, fuck that. I try to like give the universe just like, you know, whatever will happen will happen. I'm going to trust the process, whatever. But there are also things that I want in life, and I feel like speaking them with conviction helps bring them to life. So someday I am going to be a full-time artist. I'm going to live this beautiful life where I'm creating art. I'm going to be living on a homestead, creating art somewhere beautiful, living this dream life that I love so, so much with people in my life that I love so, so much. And this life is going to be so utterly fulfilling. And I may not feel like I'm living that life yet, but that's okay. Because I have this life that I'm in right now, this season, and it is allowing me to take steps. I am being gifted with opportunities, whether I see them or not, to take more steps towards that dream life that I want. And that's what I need to focus on. And that's what I need to be grateful for and appreciate. And yeah, I might not know when I become a full-time artist, but it's going to happen someday. I'm positive. I'm going to figure it out one of these days. And yeah, maybe I have absolutely no fucking clue what I'm doing right now, but that's okay. And thank you for not judging me for sharing all of that vulnerable mumbo jumbo. And if you feel that way too, just know that you're not alone. Feel free to comment a little heart, and I'll comment one back to send you some love on this lovey-dovey holiday. Alrighty. That's all we have today for the chittin' and chatterin'. So it's time for our goodbye tarot pool. I don't remember what card I used or what deck I used last time, so I'm going to be using this one from Heart and Hands Tarot that my dear friend gave me. It's just the one I'm feeling. Probably because the last time I at least did some tarot reading for myself, I used the other deck. But yeah, I really am feeling this one today. I feel like the black and white fits really well with Valentine's Day for some reason. I don't know, because it's like sexy, goes well with red, pink, purple, whatever, versus like the other one's wilderness. Like Valentine's doesn't give off camping vibes, no offense. Though it would be fun, perhaps, if that's your thing, some glamping, whatever. I'd be down to go camping for Valentine's Day, but you know, just vibes. That's all I'm talking about today. But yeah, I love love. I love the lovey-dovey energy of Valentine's Day holidays. Honestly, I was about to say I really love the holidays that aren't like, I don't know, family-based, I guess you could say, but I also like those holidays as well. Like Thanksgiving's one of my favorites because of the food, but I've also always loved like 4th of July and New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, Halloween, Valentine's Day, because I don't know, I love all the different themes. I love a celebration. I love holidays in general. I don't need to pick a category. I don't know why I feel like I do sometimes, because it's always changing, you know what I mean? So I'm not actually picking anything, but I feel like I am in the moment, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm feeling 2 cards today. So feminine and masculine energy are represented by yin and yang. So we're gonna do a pull for the yin, a pull for the yang, you know. And I've actually never done that or this before. It popped in my head, probably because these cards are black and white and I have 2. Usually I do like a 3-card pool and it'll be past, present, future, or like mind, body, spirit, and like that's what I do for like me personally. But I was just feeling 2 right now. That's just what popped out naturally, so it's what we're gonna go with. For our yin card, we have the Star. Very beautiful. And then for our yin card, we have the moon. Dang. The moon and the star. Wow, those were both, I pulled them from the middle. I like cut each deck, pulled the top card, put it down for both of them. So we have the star and the moon today. I like the vibes, especially for like Valentine's Day. Like the moon, love by the moon, that has been a theme in my mind today. Like heavily loving by the moon. So we're going to start out with the star though. A woman gazes blissfully at the star blooming from her forehead. Her hair flows like water over her shoulders. Cleansing and rejuvenating her spirit, the star is a visionary who understands her place in the cosmos and has faith in the light that guides her. She is dazzled by the brightness and beauty of the universe and brims with inspiration and enlightenment. This card suggests that a sudden insight may reveal a vision for your future or clarify your calling. You're feeling inspired and you know your own worth. Trust your inner light. It will show you the way forward. How many times did I say you are worthy today? Huh? What are the odds of that? You know, these themes of being a visionary, trusting yourself, you know, having that inner strength. Beautiful. So beautiful. So important. And that's really what is resonating with me when I'm taking away, you know, trust your inner light. It will show you the way forward. Alrighty, the moon next. A sleeping woman drifts in a boat without oars, lost in her own dreams. Fish leap from the dark water, revealing flashes of a secret submerged world. The moon's mysterious gravity shifts tides and alters her course. Whether or not she is aware of its pull, dazzled by the moon's strange light, the surrounding eyes are swirled by spirals, suggesting delusion or deception. This card indicates that you're traveling unknown territory, that you might not be aware of the forces at play or the dangers around or within you. Behavior and emotions, yours and others, may seem erratic or irrational. Be cautious and look beneath the surface. Your instincts and intuitions reveal something important, but they may not mean what you think they do. I do feel like this card kind of resonated more with like our chats regarding like the full moon in Leo, you know, heightened emotions and just like being aware, like you have your ego. It is a part of you and it can sabotage you at some times. But if you can like bring some self-awareness into the picture, you know, that could possibly help you out. But per usual, you know, just take what resonates with you. And yeah, I do hope that today's reading connected with you in some way. I do think it's weird. It's been really weird to me that we talk about all this stuff on the podcast and I do a reading and then something like relates to something that we talked about. And it's especially weird whenever it's like an astrology thing to me, because that just makes me feel like the universe's energy is at play and that there is just this like frequency in the universe that, you know, I'm finally getting in tune with, and it's pretty cool. I'm a fan. I think it's a good fun time. I'm freaking getting chills right now, and yeah, I'm happy with where this journey's taking me. Excuse the sound of the cards. Just putting me stuff away so it stays nice. But yeah, that's all for today's episode. You can join me again next Thursday for some Astrology 101. We're finally going to be deep diving into all of the different like astrology lingo I've been spitting out. It's been kind of confusing on my end, honestly, as well. Like, I'm a noob in this world. I'm learning, as I've said a million times, just bringing y'all along with me on the journey, on the ride. And we just need like a crash course. We're going to go through the structure, the vocabulary words, keywords, whatever. Just like, we're going to try to figure out what the heck all this means together. And it is starting to like click, like today whenever I was talking about how like Leo is a fixed fire sign and that kind of stuff, and just like the meaning behind, you know, the full moon versus the meaning behind the new moon, and whatever. You know, it's all starting to make sense as I am like continuing this practice. You know, repetition is a great way to learn. Practicing is a great way to learn. Who would have thunk? But yeah, next time we're going to be doing an astrology deep dive. It'll be beautiful. It'll be fun, a hoot and a half. And yeah, of course we'll have some like stories and other fun things to chat about as well, per usual. But I hope you have a super lovey-dovey Valentine's Day today, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this. Go ahead and celebrate some love. Happy Lupercalia and whatnot. If you're feeling lovey-dovey towards the podcast today, you can go ahead and hit us with a follow, a subscribe, like. But yeah, that's all for today. Until next time, bye babes.